I needed a full day to process everything. Way too much happened. What an NBA trade deadline. Oh my, oh my. I try to cover everything. Thank you guys for watching the videos. Thank you guys for allowing me to do this again. It really means a lot. I appreciate everyone that's been commenting, liking up the videos, the new subscribers, all that. It means a lot. 2025 NBA trade season is officially over. This picture is actually really funny because it says I flew 7,900 miles to see Luka. He crossed it out to AD, and AD's not there either. Oh my. But honestly, that was one of the craziest trade deadlines ever. A total of 38 All-Star appearances and 20 All-NBA teams have been traded. Just not obviously 38 players or 20 of this, like, you know what I mean? But that's a lot of stardom. That's a lot of firepower. This was our first time seeing two All-NBA guys from the season before being traded. There was so much going on with the salary tax and the pick swaps and whatever, like all this other stuff going on. So we can start from the top with the big one, but I think it's best that we start from the bottom, man. Let's start from the bottom and then work our way up. So we can start from one of the lower tier trades. We got Kevin Porter Jr. to the Bucks. So the Bucks get KPJ and the Clippers get Marion Butchep. And then the Hornets Thunder trade second rounders, which obviously does not matter in life. It's a 2029 second round pick, 2030, like one day maybe they matter. To be fair, if you really think about it, the Nuggets drafted Jokic in the second round. You got the Warriors drafted Draymond in the second round. Like, there's scenarios and cases where things work out, but not often. So Davion Mitchell to the Heat. The Heat get Davion Mitchell, and the Raptors get PJ Tucker, a 2026 second round pick from the Lakers, and some cash, some moolah baby. So nothing so far that's like game breaking. We were expecting to see PJ Tucker in Miami. He got excited. He did make a whole Instagram story about it, and it turns out it wasn't enough. He had to go. Now we got the Eubanks. So here, this is where it originally started. The Jazz PJ Tucker. So Tucker was bang, then that. So maybe it was best to start from the top, because we'll add on. So basically, the Clippers are getting Eubanks and Patty Mills. They already actually are set to go. I'm pretty sure they played. I think I was watching literally Eubanks on the bench and all that. I think they subbed it. I don't remember exactly, but they'll be good pieces to what they got going on. They're kind of in the mix for the playoffs right now. I think they've been losing a little bit lately, so they got to step it up. PJ Tucker, we saw, was going to the Jazz, but then later went to Toronto, as we just read. Mo Bamba, he actually got released, so he can be picked up. That's another big thing. I can't wait to see what happens in that sense. We're hearing about buyouts. Ben Simmons is being bought out, so we should expect him to get a new home in the next couple of days. Mo Bamba, there's a lot of players all over the place that should get shots elsewhere. I'm pretty sure Elfrid Payton just got signed, which is really good for him. I'm happy to hear that. But we'll continue with just the trade talk for right now. We got this big trade over here. But before, let's talk about Thomas Bryant to the Pacers. So Thomas Bryant going to the Pacers, I didn't even hear about that, actually. That's crazy. And the Heat are getting a second round pick swap. So that was interesting for sure. A lot of these trades that don't make sense are usually just because of luxury tax. They want to dump contracts, little things of that nature. So that's something to always consider. You can't really see the full story. We see a bunch of picks being swapped right here between the Suns and the Jazz. Literally 2025 first round pick for 2027 first round pick, and then 27. That's way too much going on. We can't follow that stuff. Never. We got Wiseman to the Raptors and cash for a future second round pick, top 55 protected. So that's literally, bro, we don't want to pay this man. We just need one man out of here so we can see what's happening. And that's really interesting, to say the least. We got Patrick Baldwin going to the Spurs for a future second round pick, also top 55 protected. As of now, none of these, like I said, are like game breaking trades. Like, I'm just putting it out there. So if anyone's a fan of like Jaden Springer, now you know he's going to the Rockets with a 2030 second round pick for a second round pick, top 55 protected. Then you got the 76ers getting Jared Butler. I'm sure they wanted Jimmy Butler, another Jay Butler. And then more picks, a lot of picks for Reggie Jackson, who's going to the Wizards, as well as literally nothing. And none of that stuff mattered. Reggie Jackson got waived, so I expect him to get picked up. Reggie Jackson had a pretty good run so far lately in life. Like, not so, like, lately, but you know what I mean. He had a good run with the Clippers. He had a really good run with OKC back in the day. He had good runs in a lot of places. I expect some team that's having a playoff push that needs a backup point guard to really give him a shot. Let me know who you think might pick him up. Now we're starting to heat up. The trades are getting better and better. We got Daniel Theis going to the Thunder, and then he also got waived, and that was for cash and whatnot. So Daniel Theis is in the market. I can see maybe Boston picking him back up because they had him back in the day and they liked him, but who knows? We'll see where that ends up. KJ Martin, he went to the Pistons. Okay, and he was later traded to the Jazz. Once again, not too much movement. Usually this is picks and cash and just little things like that. That's why you don't really hear about those trades. I just wanted to talk about them. At the end of the day, these are all salary dumps, as they call them. Salary dumps are not important. Marcus Smart went to the Wizards, which is wild because they actually made another trade that we'll talk about as we go up. But Alex Len, Colby Jones, and a 2025 first-round pick are all going to Washington. Marvin Bagley, haven't heard that name in a long time. That was one of my guys. He is going to the Grizzlies with Johnny Davis and a future second-round pick. And then we got Jake La Ravia going to the Kings. I hope I said that right. And here's another huge salary dump. Yusuf Nurkic going to the Hornets, 2026 first round pick. They got Cody Martin, this man over here, and a 2026 second round pick. Now we made it to the key additions section. This is what they call key additions. So we'll go start with Dennis Schroeder, who basically said, he made a point about how it's unfair that players don't really have much say. One day you're here and then they move your whole family and this and that. That's like not exactly what he said. He talked about it a little differently. If you know, you know. But right after he said that, he was traded 3 times. Legitimately, like absolutely insane, going bouncing around from here to here to here to here, and he's all over the place. Now I'm pretty sure he's in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. He was in Utah for a second, and then he was in here for a second. It was just so much going on. Overall, the Nets are getting DeAnthony Melton or Reese Beekman and a bunch of picks as well. We got Jonas Valanciunas going to the Kings, which is cool. And then City, who also got traded twice. He's bouncing around as well. We got Nick Richards going to the Phoenix Suns. They needed a big. They traded Nurkic, which we'll get to. So they took Nick Richards from the Hornets, and they gave up Josh Okogie, which I guess makes sense. He was playing well and all that, but overall, he probably was going to either maybe walk, or they just didn't play him that much because of what they had. Like, they don't need him for the role that he does because they have a lot of guys at that position. You got Caleb Martin going to the Mavs. This was a really interesting one. I seen a lot of Mavs fans not liking this one overall in general, simply because it's like they were like, bro, we just got Max Christie, we like Quentin Grimes, he's young and this and that, but Caleb Martin should be a good pick if they're trying to win now. They don't got to wait on Grimes, so that could be interesting. And the 76ers are getting Grimes, who has potential. Now, Dorian Finney-Smith, this was not on the deadline. This has been going on. We see how well Dorian Finney-Smith's been playing in LA, absolutely killing it, shooting 41% from 3. The defense is showing. Shake Milton's still taking a little longer with his lesser role, barely playing like that, but he'll get it. And the Nets, D'Angelo Russell just hit a game winner the other day. He looks so good in Brooklyn. He always has, always will. One of my guys, love him so much. I got 2 things signed from him because I'm a Nets fan and I am a D'Lo fan. I'm glad he's back home where he enjoys the atmosphere, the vibe, and the city rolls well with him. Even when they losing, and he's the guy, we cool. Next, we got the Clippers getting Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is gonna be a stud there. I mean, he's more like a Norman Powell. They got so many players that play like that, to be fair. But we saw what Bogdanovic did over the summer for the Olympics, and we know he can ball. So they gave up Terrence Mann and Bones Highland, so that kind of gives some space for Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic is definitely better than both those men. Bones Highland hasn't really been playing well on the Clippers to begin with. He kind of, I'm not going to say dropped off, but he hasn't been the same since Denver. So that's who the Hawks are getting. And then Cody Zeller is going to the Rockets with a second-round pick. Now we got Mark Williams, the big trade, one of the big ones that the Lakers made. And the trade on top of it's huge as well. So we got Mark Williams going to the Lakers for Dalton Connect, the rookie, Cam Reddish, and 2 picks, 2031 first round and a 2030 first round pick swap. Mark Williams to the Lakers. That gives them the center they desperately need, the lob threat for Luka Doncic, the defensive presence plus rebounding, and just someone else. So Jackson Hayes ain't the starter. So that's a big, huge swap, trade, all that, which makes the Lakers a contender. They needed a big, and that is definitely a viable big to get. Now, the Cavs, who are the #1 team in the East, they are second right now to OKC. OKC surpassed them for the #1 record in the league. Gave up Karis LeVert and George Niang plus 3 second-round picks and 2 second-round pick swaps. A lot of picks, but second rounds, once again, hit or miss. It's very hard to hit, to be honest. They are very hard to hit. Think about it. And they are getting the DeAndre Hunter, who has been having an absolutely beautiful year. DeAndre Hunter has been one of the best players on the Hawks this year. So the Hawks kind of just giving it all up at this point. Got rid of Hunter, Bogdanovich, and there's way more when you look at things. They're just, I don't know why they didn't get rid of Trae Young. Free my man Trae Young. He needs to be free. He deserves better. And the last key addition, we got a big trade where the Bucks are getting rid of Chris Middleton, a man that won a championship with them. He's been there for a long time. I just found out how he's a leading, category guy in a lot of different stats. I did not know that. I've been doing quizzes on my More and Most Ballin' channel. If you guys want to go check that out, I've learned so much. I've been doing every team's top 10 point scorers, their assists leaders. I just did the rebound leaders for every team this year. Today, I'm going to be doing steals, blocks, and it's actually, I really just found out I was a casual and don't know anything. So if you want to go enjoy that, go take a look. Link should be down below. But Middleton is going to the Wizards with AJ Johnson and a 2028 first round pick swap for Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks. They're getting Kuz. They're getting Sims, Patrick Baldwin, and a 2025 second-round pick. So that means the Knicks are involved, and they're only getting DeLon Wright and some cash. So they're removing a little bit of stuff and getting some stuff. A lot going on. I think the Bucks got a lot better low-key. I know Middleton was Middleton, but they got that new kid like AJ Green. He's been balling, shooting and stuff. Lillard's been able to score, so they don't need Chris Middleton for that. They need more of a Kuzma. I feel like he's a little bit better all around, which is crazy to say because in Washington you don't see that. But we saw that when he was on LA, and he's obviously grown since then. It's just he's in a bad situation. So we'll move on up. This next category is called the big ones. Yes, the big ones. So they're including all trades of this year. So obviously Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks was huge, incredibly big trade. No one's seen it coming. So that was obviously not on the deadline, but it was this season where Cat went ahead, going to New York. We're seeing that's working out really well for them. The Wolves got Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, Bates Diop, and so far that hasn't been as great as Karl Anthony Towns. We're seeing that. Something I just found out or heard or learned is basically the same situation where it comes to Luka Doncic, right? And what happened is basically they were going to have to pay Towns a lot, and they probably just didn't want to do that. That's actually crazy to think about. That's going to really ruin a lot of teams. A lot of guys aren't going to get paid from their team and get traded to a different organization after everything they put into it. And we're going to see that a lot more often. I didn't even think of that when it came to Cat, but it makes a lot of sense why they would have made that trade. The Hornets got some couple pieces here and there, but none of that matters. This was an old trade. Anyway, the newer ones, we saw De'Aaron Fox. He's been playing on the Spurs now. He got traded for Zach LaVine. That's City kid who just got traded again. We read that earlier. We saw the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and Kevin Huerter, which overall for all these teams, I think the Spurs got the best deal. They got De'Aaron Fox. I think that we're going to see that become something really special with Fox and Wemby. I made a video separately on that, and I really do believe they're going to be really special. We got Brandon Ingram getting traded from the Pelicans. He also is a leading candidate for points and a lot of statistical categories in New Orleans Pelicans history, so that's really crazy too. But he got traded, so he's going to Toronto. Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a couple picks going to the Pelicans. Will that really do anything this year? Probably not. I don't think the Pelicans or Raptors got any kind of thing going on, but doing it early now instead of later on, when the year starts and stuff. You get to at least get an extra half a year to get yourself situated and get a rhythm, especially before the postseason. I think this is a great time to play because teams are taking it a little bit more seriously than the beginning of the season, and it'll help them gel a lot faster. Now we got a huge trade. This is a really big one because it involves the Warriors, which is the Jimmy Buckets trade. Jimmy Butler to Golden State. The Heat got Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, PJ Tucker, and we saw that PJ got traded later. KJ Martin to the Jazz, Josh Richardson. So Dennis Schroeder going to the Pistons. Like, this is where everything started. It's not really in a great order of how these trades went down and whatnot, of like how people are moving, but we know that was a really big trade that's going to help the Warriors. I just watched the Warriors game on the other channel, the Warriors and Lakers yesterday, and they definitely needed Jimmy Butler. Definitely needed him. He's going to be great on both ends. He'll help Steph out a ton. Will it be with a missing piece for the chip this year? Maybe not, but like they're still having for 2 more years. They have Steph for 2 more years, so they'll have something to build on as they can make a push for the playoffs or for at least those last couple spots to play in. You feel me? And then the final trade, the big one, was the Luka Doncic AD trade. And then just that trade in itself is insane. We've been seeing Max Christie playing for the Mavs. He's the only one on this list that actually has gotten time to play. Jalen Hood Schifino actually got dropped by the Jazz. I'm pretty sure they let him go. But so far, Christie's the only one that played, and he's been playing really well for the Mavs. He had 15 both games. I think he had like a crazy amount of rebounds the other day. He's really been doing it on both ends. He's been getting a lot of good minutes, which is shout out to Kid for giving him that trust. And when AD comes back, I think they'll look really good. It's going to be a good fit for him in that team. They have a lot of centers, and he doesn't want to play center, so that's going to help him in general playing that 4 slot, and he'll make that team a dynamic team. But the Lakers getting Luka just changes everything, in my opinion, for them, because they are going to be really special for years to come. Maybe not right now, but maybe right now. We saw Braun put up 42 yesterday, and now Luka's going to take such a huge scoring load and just attention off of him. The Lakers have been playing absolutely insane. They are 4-1 or 5-1 without AD in their last like 5-6 games because AD wasn't there for the last couple. So they've been playing really well. They're shooting the lights out of the ball, and now you add Luka Doncic, who's gonna be on a mission. He definitely is gonna be really rejuvenated. If you called him 270, you called him this and that, man, oh man, I really need to make a video of just Luka because he's really gonna terrorize it for years to come. It's over for everybody, man. No one's gonna stop Luka. It's just not gonna happen. And now the Lakers are so blessed and lucky. They'll be willing to pay him. They'll go through the tax. They should have never got somebody like that. He should have been a Mav for life, and they fumbled that. They definitely did. I feel bad for Mavs fans. Let me know which trade of these is underrated. Like, for me personally, like, obviously we know how big the Luka AD trade is. We know how big these trades are, but which ones are underrated? Like, I can't say the Fox or the Towns. Those aren't that underrated, you feel me? Like, I think this DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs is a really underrated trade. Bogdanovich to the Clippers, I would say that if they really were looking like a threat, but he's going to help them out, I think. Dorian Finney-Smith is a huge trade, especially now that Luka and DFS are really familiar with each other. They play well together, so that might be really much bigger than we think. Other than that, I think like all these mini trades, nothing really crazy is happening with them, obviously. But we'll see how this leads into the last remaining games of the season. We're ready for the NBA playoffs. Like, man, second stretch of the season gets crazy, man. Nitty gritty, and I'm going to be here for all of it. So I hope you guys are ready. Tomorrow, I'll be taking a look at the All-Star teams. We haven't taken a look at those. There's a lot to be talked about and discussed. They finally created them. I love the jerseys for the All-Star game, so that should be exciting. We are seeing that Anthony Davis will be playing with LeBron James in the All-Star game, so that should be fun, should be interesting, should be really dope and cool. One last road for the the big dynamic, and we'll talk soon, guys. I want to hear everything you guys got to say. I will also have a special guest on with me soon. A couple. I'll have some lined up, hopefully. If anyone wants to be on with me, let me know. Maybe we can make it happen. But the point is, so you guys just don't hear my voice the whole time, so we can have discussions, talk about things. So hopefully we can make that happen. With all that said, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully your team got better looking and is looking good for the future. I'm happy that my Nets got D'Lo. I know we're here to lose anyway, so it's cool. We're chilling, we're vibing. And with all that said, I'll see you guys soon. Keep doing the most.